one of my interviews brought up the word medical trauma, and I hadn't really thought about that much, but I mean, my goodness, I don't know too many CVS patients that don't probably have medical trauma, that don't want to go to hospitals or go to doctors because of their experiences that they've had.
At the age of 9, my parents had taken me to the Mayo Clinic, who was kind of had done some papers regarding cyclic vomiting. There had been some talk of that diagnosis, and so we went there, and he actually did diagnose me at the age of 9. Subsequently, they also put me in a locked child psychiatric unit because they thought maybe there was some sort of mental thing along with it, whether it be an eating disorder or making myself sick. I was in a locked child psychiatric unit at the age of 9 for 6 months. Transfer from one place to the other, your records follow you. So even though I was diagnosed with cyclic vomiting, and then they put me in this unit, and then they took me out, put me at Minneapolis Children's, the doctors there are like, okay, yeah, you do have cyclical vomiting. That's not a diagnosis, it's just what you do. So even though I had the diagnosis, nobody acknowledged it because there wasn't any treatment protocols or any understanding of really what it was. They would never admit me. They would give me IV fluids in the clinic for, however long the day was. They'd take the IV out and they'd send me home. Well, every time, because they didn't want to leave the IV in, because why make it easy? Let's start another IV because maybe that'll keep you from wanting to come back. So every day I had IVs inserted, fluids taken out, went home. And so after this was happening for a while, my parents, they were in something called an HMO. And the doctors down here were labeling it as it was psychological because they had done every test under the sun. It had always come back normal. What else could it be? It's got to be psychological. So dehydrated that I'd need an IV fluids. But I was treated so poorly because they thought I wanted the attention, an ongoing episode, and maybe have 1 or 2 good days, and then I would flip back into an episode again. So I never had enough days to string together for nutrition. So eventually I had a central line put in, and I had TPN and lipids. And I was being fed that way for months. And eventually my dad was just so tired of, everybody, coming up with their own conclusions about why I was getting sick, because everything came back normal. Anytime when people are throwing accusations or accusing you, or it just makes the symptoms that much worse. It doesn't help in any way. It seemed like the worse I was treated, the more maybe anxiety it caused me because I didn't want to go there. But because of that, then that just perpetuated the episodes happen more frequently. As I look back on it now, had I not gone through everything that I went through, going through this, I don't think I would be who I am or where I am today without having been through it. And as you're going through it, you don't fully understand that, but I fully feel like there was a higher purpose of me having to go through that to where I am today. And I guess I didn't realize that until after I've been through it. So even though it was as awful as it was, I wouldn't change it.